Namaste, Pisces and Pisces risings, and welcome to Soul Horoscope Superscopes. My name is Christopher Raymond Witecki. I am a modern mystic and soul biographer, and I help people put their stories together, both in a mystic way and in a personal way, using astrology, numerology, and a number of tools. And I am understanding you to be either a Pisces or a Pisces rising. And the cool thing about Pisces rising is they live in perpetual 7. In fact, that's what I'm going to be teaching now, is the step astrology, which is what step or what number goes with your astrology in your moment and what number are you best at. And for Pisces, it's the Holy 7. 7 days of the week, 7 chakras, you name it. 7 is one of the varieties and spices of life because it's at the 7th step that we sense our reality around us. Our 6th sensory is really our 7th sensory, if you want to think of it that way. So what's going on for the 7 sensories? Well, I think mostly they're changing who they are in the world. Most Pisces were born to live at least 2 lives. You have to clean up the lifetimes or series of lifetimes that you've lived, and then you have to get on to the next series of lifetimes. So if you were just like a war and a monger, then now you're going to be a peace artist. If you were a peace artist, then you need to get strong. But either way, this is the time with the Sun in Capricorn for really your decision making by who and how you define yourself in the world. Where is it that you feel with your heart you belong? If you don't feel like you belong where you are, or you feel like a stranger in your own world, that's because you're not where you belong. When we belong, our heart relates. And we're going to talk about this, but this week Pisces and Pisces risings are making decisions about where they feel they belong. And that means also deciding where you don't belong. But that's not just it. This has a lot to do with your personal dreams coming true and your inner child wanting wanting love and loving creativity and following its passions. And so really, you know, by deciding where you don't belong, you free the heart for where you do belong. Another area has to do with self-esteem, not a fun one. Oops, back to the rainforest. With self-esteem, you are trying to innovate how you see yourself as valuable. You might have always made your money a certain way, or always roamed the earth cooking, or always roamed the earth doing this, or always roamed the earth keeping ladies company. I know a lot of Pisces that live off of keeping ladies company. I'm not kidding. And I know a lot of ladies that always call up their Pisces. Are you there? You know, it's like it's a deal that happens. But at the end of the day, your self-esteem needs to be based on something new, says the charts. And this comes from enforcing personal boundaries you already know you should be enforcing. This isn't like you didn't know better. This is like you thought you can get away one more time with it. And yes, you can get away with it, but your self-esteem is in the toilet if you're not enforcing those boundaries of integrity. So let's look at the week real quick and see what's up for everyone. First of all, through the weekend, it's sunny and cool for the Pisces. The moon will be in your sign, so confidence and self-esteem will be at your disposal. But you are still breaking down and breaking through about who am I. It could be a real identity crisis, we could put it that way, where you are trying to identify who you are. Now, it's really who are you becoming. It's never who you are, because we're always becoming something. So it's who you've been and who you're becoming, but who you are is somewhere in between. And for yourself, you are deciding who you're not, really. That's what I want to stress. It's like, don't worry about knowing who you are. Just know who you're not anymore. Know what you're not anymore. And that's really what the decision making is that is up ahead here on Wednesday. By the time the moon moves into Aries, you're feeling self-confident. But remember, you're going to have a leap of that self-confidence or a leap of that self-worth. And that leap might be a challenge in front of you. So it could be that you have something thrown right in front of you. This might be a challenge to stay or leave a friend, stay or leave an organization, stay or leave an attachment to a power in society, keep or get rid of a title. And so this dilemma or crisis will probably tie into money because the moon goes into Aries, and so suddenly you might be torn between money, which is corruption most of the time, and truth. And most of the time money is used to corrupt the truth. So you might be in a real decision there, but it's not until Wednesday you technically have to make the decision. At least the universe is waiting for it, or everyone's going to leave without you. And it's on Thursday that you actually take action. So it's like if you decide to quit your job, you tell them Thursday. You know what I'm saying? If you decide to leave something, you tell them Thursday. So that's the Wednesday-Thursday hump. Then at the end of the month, or the end of the week, I wish month, Friday you are manifesting new. Now notice it's K-N-E-W. That's because it's something your heart knew, but it's new, right? So look for something your heart knew that's new, and that is the key paradoxical thing there. The moon will be in Taurus, and so emotions will be pensive and thoughtful, and You'll be in a good communicative perspective, so it might come from someone speaking. But basically this week is about a radical change in your priorities, and I think it comes from a radical change in your heart about where you feel you belong. And this comes from being honest with your heart about the truth, about what your heart really wants. Once you're honest with yourself, you can see whether or not you in fact are where you belong or not. And one of the other areas of being honest has to do with Saturn in Scorpio. But let's wait for a second. I've got something else to show you before we dive into that. And that has to do with consciousness itself. Consciousness is kind of a circle. In fact, really God was just a point of light that became a circle. And this circle went in circles, right? So circles going in circles and cycling over time. These are the cycles and circles of our life. And the stairway to heaven, incidentally, is basically us ascending and stacking up and becoming aware of all these steps. From I protect to I be, that is how we manifest. Step 0 is I protect. Step 1 is I love. So Pisces are step 7, I sense, right in the middle. Isn't that funny? So this is just proof that you do bridge heaven and earth, because you've got your hands in heaven and your feet on the earth, and you're in step 7. You like to live up there, floating way above your body, way outside your reality. You can come crashing in, you can go back up. By the way, I protect is where we have sex, so if you're a Pisces that likes to have sex, then you're a Pisces that comes to the bottom of the stairs a lot. At the end of the day, I love does not necessarily mean I protect, and what I'm teaching everyone here is you may like to hover in step 7, and you might to live up there where you're sensing things all the time and you're not tied into any other steps. But if you don't love and protect yourself at the bottom, the whole staircase falls. And so this is one of the major issues with Pisces. It's not that you don't love and protect yourself, it's that your philosophies and your beliefs, what you believe does not end up protecting and loving you. What you believe does not end up grounding you and giving you a foundation. And so whatever it is you believe, it's not working if you're crashing. If you're not on a solid step-by-step all the way up in life and you crash down, you have skipped steps, or you have not managed to follow through with a step or whatnot. All right? So those are the steps. Now, what's really interesting is the idea of how does one stand in this piece and pull it all off. Now, I believe that there's an approach to this, and I've narrowed this approach down to a singular kind of idea that I did not come up with at all and don't take credit for. It's called plurality. And it comes from PLUR. Plurality is peace, love, unity, and respect. And plurality is where the plural can live in fluid motion, which is what you witness in a rave, where this kind of comes from. So there's a lot of interesting grassroots, native, human being native origins from this. But not that old, 2003 or 4 is what they're looking at. But I think it's a fantastic way to look at the scopes, and it's how I'm going to look at the scopes this year, is through peace, love, unity, and respect. So let's start with peace. Now, you know what? When it comes to peace, Pisces like to live in peace. Pisces tend to want to live in peace, but that doesn't mean Pisces do. All right? Now, to keep the peace, you've got to be fair with yourself, and you've got to be clear on what you believe and what you don't believe. And the truth is that Pisces can cause disruption in peace when they themselves are not at peace. And it's very easy for their inner verse to be corrupted by their outer verse. That's the issue. Pisces allow themselves to be corrupted. Now, I think your belief structure is one of the areas where you have to be really conscious about whether or not you're letting your beliefs corrupt you. But you also, I think, have to be in touch with your inner child. Right now, Pisces are trying to expand their inner child and step into a new love and a new falling in love with yourself. So you really have to kind of, in order to find that peace, you really have to go straight for what the child wants, and you have to bring tranquility to your being before you go out in the outer verse. So in other words, the inner verse is what draws in the outer verse, and since you're a sensitive Pisces, if you open the door and there's craziness there, just close it, go back in and meditate. All right, so inner verse peace means outer verse peace. And I think what's throwing off the Pisces in their peace is they're not protecting their inner child, and their philosophies of life do not protect their love and trust for themselves. I think that's why their inner peace is disrupted. All right, so peace out. Then love. Love is a great one, and love is a many things. This reminds me of Moulin Rouge. Jupiter in Cancer is saying, hey, it's time to grow the love, which means you might have to change how you feel like you belong in the world. It is a love versus belonging thing. Your parents told you were a loser. Your heart doesn't agree. Rosa Parks was told you can't have a seat on the bus. Her heart didn't agree. What makes people refuse to obey? Their heart doesn't agree. So you have to put and love your own heart. You have to put your own heart first. Otherwise, you will get lost out there in the world, and you certainly won't know where to draw your lines, and you certainly won't be of any value to yourself or others. And this all comes from really loving and sustaining yourself. If you want to be loved by others, love yourself first. Otherwise, love the one you're with. That's what a Pisces says. But you know what? The problem is Pisces, you go ahead and try to get your love from the outerverse all the time. I got to say, out of all the signs, Pisces and Pisces risings tend to vacuum out the love straight through the outerverse. That's because they have a mucous membrane there, and they're so easy to get along with. And I'm just saying, a lot of you Pisces are on some sort of default meal plan. And a lot of you. Now, the payoff is, are you getting your love from yourself? If you are, and then you trade love, different story. And we want to get it on film. Just kidding. Unity. Unity is one that Pisces definitely have a problem with. It's like unity comes from knowing yourself, and Pisces tend to figure out who they are as they bounce into a jar, like, oh, I'm a this, I'm a that, and so unity comes from focusing on unifying yourself. How to unify? Through your heart. Your heart is the common element that is interested in all of you. So your whole heart agrees something this, or your whole heart agrees something that. Now people say, oh, I wholeheartedly agree. But they don't really understand what that means. That means your feet agree. When your whole heart agrees, remember, all blood goes through there. So if it agrees, the whole body's on board. It's kind of got power of signature, doesn't it? So unity is knowing what your heart wants and everything inside you agreeing around what your heart wants. That allows you to have unity with others. So when people are not in unity, that's when we are uncertain about connecting to them, unifying with them, getting on their team. And you know, Pisces, you tend to be very, very sensitive. Again, you have an issue with outerverse affecting your innerverse, and so unity is a big one for the Pisces. Then finally comes respect. And this is the other one that I think Pisces have a trouble with. And you might go, God, Chris, is there anything you're doing right? Yeah, the love really well, and the peace. I mean, you guys have got peace down more than anyone, you and Libras. So you'll see if you watch all the scopes, not everyone's good at any of these. But respect. Respect comes from boundaries, you know. So when you respect, you're really respecting a person's limits, you're respecting your limitations. And so when you respect your boundaries on the inside, other people respect your boundaries. Where are you having problems respecting boundaries? One, with beliefs. Aligning your heart and your beliefs is one area where Pisces are like, add a couple drinks, or you know, or the other way too, it's like not always that Pisces are escaping. Sometimes Pisces can be very preachy and like disrespect other people's spiritual boundaries. So, and this is true for all signs. My point is, where do you respect your limits in yourself? And remember, boundaries are an invisible circle. They're not a line. We don't draw a line with somebody. We draw a circle around them and go, this isn't good for my consciousness. We want the whole northwest, east, south, crooked, everything, Z dimension, not to be there. Not just a line between us. We don't want to build walls up between us and the universe. We want the universe to remove what doesn't work. And besides, there's a place for those kind of people. There's a place for our kind of people. But we have to respect ourselves, respect our boundaries. And this is where Pisces, I think, don't always respect themselves. That's probably because part of your nature is to open up to the universe in step 7. And you know, the opposite side of you is, would you want to know? Virgo. What number is Virgo? 11. So isn't that cute? The two of you are 7-11. So 7-11 is really a Pisces and a Virgo? Aww. Isn't that cute? It's true though. I'm not kidding. Can't make this shift up. So we're going to wrap up with a little Soul Mart information. Just so you know, if you want to dive deep into each of the weeks and see ahead of time, it's called the Megascope. I'll have the Aquas out soon, and the Capricorns are available. It's just $11.11. Keeps me on the air and gets a little bit deeper into helping you deal with the energies I've been talking about. If you want to deal one-on-one, well, I'm offering readings now for $99, and you'll get a free 15-minute follow-up that's good for any time in the year. So hop on that if you want to have some fun. But probably the most exciting part I want to bring up today is the new GA Venus, the Guardian Agency. We are now launching a Guardian Agency for just women, single women actually. I mean, you can be married or whatever, but this whole thing is about women being out, women wanting to grow, women wanting to find love, and we're going to be a service for women and about women and young ladies. And most of our Soul Guardian talent is now going to be working for GA Venus, so if you want to have daily coaching and whatnot, I'm offering a free week trial. They'll begin on January 17th. So come on down to gavenus.com if you ladies would like to be watched over by some really great, fantastic souls. All right, well, Pisces, that's all I have for this time. So nice to get back in touch with you. I'll be back in 7 days with more. I intend to stay around now. Until next week, live, love, be.